Welcome tributes to episode 3 of JabberCast, a Hunger Games podcast hosted by Jabberjays.net. Today is Friday, May 2nd, 2014, and you are listening to episode 3, What the Finnick. I am one of your hosts, Crystal Watanabe in Honolulu, Hawaii, and I am joined by Carla in Germany.
Hello, everybody.
Ciara in Ireland.
Hello.
Tash in Australia.
G'day, guys.
And we also have a special guest here today. His name is Dean O'Carroll.
Hi, everybody.
And Dean is here to help promote a play called The Humor Games. So why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about that?
Sure thing. Humor Games is a parody, a loving and friendly parody, I will say that, of the Hunger Games series that I have written and was just published by PlayScripts Inc. I've written a number of parodies of popular genre fiction, a couple of Harry Potter parodies and a Twilight parody, and so this is my latest, and it is targeted for high schools and middle schools to put on, and I think it's a lot of fun, and I think that Hunger Games fans will like and appreciate it.
So I guess standard with parodies is everybody has to somehow redo everybody's name. So why don't you tell us what you turned Katniss Everdeen into? Sure.
Katniss Everdeen becomes Catskills Wintergreen. The Catskills, of course, traditionally being a place full of sort of adult summer camps, which have shticky comedians performing. At least that was the way it was, 50, 60 years ago. So she's Catskills, and let's see, the two boys pursuing her are Tweeta Mellish, who speaks in bursts of 140 characters with hashtags and such, and
That's hilarious.
and thanks, and Gable Sevenhouse, and so, well, should I get into the plot of the play?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. Well, so like the Hunger Games, it is set in a dystopian future where an evil totalitarian government forces teenagers from the outlying districts to compete in a battle to the death. But rather than the Hunger Games, it's the Humor Games. So all of the challenges they face are comedy based, and each district and each of the districts, rather than being numbered, is named after a sign of the zodiac. Each one has sort of its own style of comedy, and so when Catskill's sister Dimhopes is. Yeah,
That's a great name.
You're getting some idea of the tone. This is a very silly play. This is very sort of Mad Magazine, Mel Brooks type style of humor. Occasionally I'll throw in, like a moderately sophisticated allusion, like Gable Sevenhouse, an allusion to a book by Nathaniel Hawthorne. But then there's plenty of just plain goofy stuff too. So the lottery for how competitors are chosen is via pie in the face. Dim gets the pie in the face, but Catskills volunteers to take her place and goes and becomes the sensation of the games because she can do a flawless imitation of the president of Panfire, the country, whose name is Nobiz El Showbiz, and so she's and the way that this sort of catches the nation by storm because nobody has ever dared to do this. And so she has an adventure not dissimilar from Katniss's, but certainly a lot more ridiculous.
So what kind of pie is...
What kind of pie?
Let's get into the important question.
We know where our priorities are, of course.
Well, I think the cream pie would be the funniest. I think...
Classic.
So the traditional pie pan filled with either shaving cream or whipped cream. Shaving cream washes off more easily, but it might sting the eyes. So up to each individual production to choose which sort of pie Pickles the Clown is going to be wielding.
Yeah, there's just something really funny about like when you get that cream in your face and then you open your eyes and your mouth and that's all you see.
I know. Yeah, we my family, we live on a college campus, and we just because my wife works here, and we do a charity auction every year. And one of the items that often gets auctioned off is put a pie in the face of one of the one of the administrators. And so my wife volunteered herself to receive a pie in the face, and the person who won the auction for it handed the pie to our children. We have 3.5-year-old twins, and so they were very excited to put a pie in Mommy's face. Yeah.
I remember seeing a video with Elizabeth Banks, who plays Effie Trinket. She got some pie in the face for some kind of skit thing, right, for charity. Do you guys remember that?
I don't doubt it. She's a very good sport about stuff like that, I think.
Yeah, like she did some video where she kept getting pied in the face. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think I have a vague recollection of that. You're right.
She's a funny lady.
Probably be a nice change of makeup.
So what is the name of your Effie Trinket?
Effie is Esther Vessence, and she's only in one scene. I know because Effie's one of my favorite characters in the books, and I was kind of shocked that I only had room for her in one scene. You know, it's I've written 2 of the Harry Potter parodies, and I'm planning on doing one more to cover the whole series, all 7 books, and so I try to can fit in, you know, almost all the major characters or parody versions of them. Since I decided to do this one in just one play, I had to cram as much in as possible. I was, you know, writing along, and I realized I hadn't included Cinna yet or spinach, and I actually appealed to friends on Facebook and Twitter saying, so what if I didn't have a Cinna or a spinach or a Finnick rather, and they said no, you have to include them. So they show up toward the end, and but they both survive, so you know it worked out pretty well for them. As opposed to I actually did wind up my version of BT and Joanna, they both die. Because I moved them to the first humor games. I had to rearrange things a little bit just to fit in as many characters. Because I realized with my first Harry Potter, I kept the cast fairly small, and I didn't have versions of a lot of people's favorite characters. And I realized that the appeal of this for students is, you know, they can't do a play where they get to play the real characters. They just can't get the rights for that. True. But you know, they love these characters so much that they want to, you know, be them in some way. And every character is somebody's favorite character. So, you know, there's, you know, so like I never, with Harry Potter, was all that interested in the character of Luna Lovegood. But people love Luna. I had no idea she was so incredibly beloved. Part of it is because the actress is a fan who
insanely good.
who's talking. Yeah, that's one of the bits of perfect casting in those movies. There's, but I'm not quite sure why she has an Irish accent and her father has a Welsh accent. But you know, we can why pick nits for that. So I really want to make sure that I fit in everybody in here, and I did get in almost everybody. There's a few characters who show up in the third book I didn't quite have room for.
You know, a couple weeks back we did a who was your favorite tribute that didn't survive in the Hunger Games poll. And like all of these Clove fans descended upon our poll.
Really?
And
I assume that Rue must have won that, right? I mean,
I think she did in the end. I don't remember what the final result was. But oh my goodness! Well, like people descended on that post, and they were posting like novels about why Clove was so awesome. And we were just like,
awesome, though.
We're just like, what? we're talking about the crazy psychotic knife loving girl, right?
Yeah. I voted for her, but I did not think she was going to win. I have to be honest.
Yeah, like
it's all your fault.
There are some hardcore Clove fans out there.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Maybe they're the Luna Lovegood fans too.
Maybe
everybody is somebody's favorite. Yeah. So I fit in, you know, as many people as I could, and I always try to leave space for people to add their own stuff. If somebody has a favorite character who I left out, I'm sure you could find some way to work him or her in. But see who else? So there's Effie is Esther Vessence, and Caesar. I kept Caesar's name as Caesar, unusual because I called him Caesar Sidney after Sid Caesar, the great early TV comedian who just died a few months ago. And then, so then Marvel becomes Excelsior, and he talks like Stan Lee. And, in some cases, I tried to play off the characters as they are in the books and go from there. With some characters, there's more just playing on the names or something else. Like Finnick becomes Spinach, and he's basically Popeye. I forgot to mention Haymitch. My version of Haymitch is named Ainge Fitch Abercrombie. Just reverse that to Abercrombie Ainge Fitch, and you'll see where I was coming from on that name. And so Cinna becomes Cinna Monica. I had to change the few characters from male to female just because I know who shows up to audition for high school and middle school plays. So you need to have. Snow becomes a woman, and so does Coin. Coin already is a woman, so that's not.
Yeah. You could argue she becomes a woman.
Yeah. So I had mentioned to you that Hunger Games fans in general are just in a bad mood right now. So we could definitely use some joking around. So we appreciate you coming on and talking to us.
I'm sorry. Have I missed some bad news? Is there bad news?
Well, there is
no news. There has been nothing from Mockingjay.
It's a lack of news.
Nothing. There's no stills. There's no trailer. There's not even news of a trailer, and we're just getting kind of teed off, which is why we call this episode "What the Finnick."
I see. Okay. Well, then I'm happy to provide a stopgap if that's what people need. The play is available from playscripts.com, and and so you can go to that. That's my publisher's website, and they're great. They allow you to read most of the play all of the first act and a big chunk of the second act. For free. Okay. Most other publishers will let you read maybe the first 10 pages, but it's you get a much larger sample from PlayScripts than from other places, and that'll certainly give you an idea of where. And then if you are so inclined, you could then buy a script, which I always encourage because that's when I start to make a little bit of money from this, and book your own production. And I realize that, of course, the school year is winding down here in this hemisphere, and so probably productions won't begin until the fall. But start pestering your drama teachers now, gang. But
it's good that they're in the fall though, because the movie comes out in November, so spirits will be higher by then.
Yeah. I wanted to. This one took me quite a while to write because I had these kids now. I have who keep me awfully busy, and we had a brand new baby in the fall.
Congratulations!
Well, thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. My kids are 3.5 now. We're starting to look at. They're in preschool now. We're starting to look at schools for them. We visited a school we might want them to go to for kindergarten. And one of the administrators who was talking to all of the visiting parents looked exactly like Donald Sutherland.
Oh my goodness!
Wow!
And he came across as a very nice fellow, but I kept expecting him to tell us that the admissions process is determined via Hunger Games. If he told us,
you should have
we'll accept some money, but may the odds be in your favor.
It would have been so funny if you mentioned it to him. I bet you he gets it all the time if you
I'm sure he
gets
all the time. I didn't want to tell him something. I'm sure he always hears.
You should probably be worried about what he's got going on in that school then.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a Quaker school, so it's like the most sort of peaceful, thoughtful, caring, considerate place in the world. But yes, it just looking like
Would you like to be in a real preschool?
Yeah.
I've actually been reading over the play scripts for the last few minutes, and can I just say that I am absolutely in love with Tweeta?
Oh, thanks.
I'm laughing so hard. I love the fact that he uses hashtags when he speaks. It just cracks me up. And I just wanted to mention that I think it's really good that not only do you take this, huge pop culture phenomena thing that is the Hunger Games, but you also incorporate, other modern details that just draw the kids in even more. So that's good because Twitter and that sort of stuff, the kids know that, so it's really good.
Yeah, I love that when he whispers to people, that's a direct message.
Yeah, he'll whisper direct messages. If he's addressing somebody, immediately he'll just say, at Catskills, so and so, and that's one of those things where when the characters in the original are sort of broad type characters, someone like like some of the other competitors or Haymitch or so on, that I it's easy to sort of make that just more broad and more silly. With a character who's fairly straight and normal like PETA, I had to find sort of a hook to make him funny. Because Catskills is pretty much the straight man in the piece, but and so everyone else has to be sort of wild and crazy. And while Gable and Tweeta are a little more normal, they do need some sort of a hook to make them comic characters and not just completely just the same guys from the books. And so that was that. So then when I was playing around with names, I thought like, oh well, if I call him Tweeta, then I can do, because I love Twitter. I can do Twitter jokes in there, and then I can also have him at one point stop talking like that as he does when he gets a little more serious, and he and Catskills get closer and get to know each other a bit better. And with Gable, sort of the whole the Catskills dilemma is that she has like Katniss. She has so little control over her life that there's, she feels like she needs to be there for her sister, to help other people. She's caught up in the games and so on. This is where the very silly play gets a tiny bit more serious, but only a tiny bit, I assure you. And one of the things is that rather than hunting, she and Gable perform sketches, for like street performers for money to support each other and to support their families. So and that's how she starts doing her impression. That they do sketches where she does the president, and he writes scripts for them, and that sort of Gable's problem is that he loves Catskills as a person, yes, but he also loves her as a person who performs his words. So sort of his love for her is a little caught up in his ability to put words in her mouth. And that's yet another way to control her, and that's so that's a bit of a dilemma that one experiences as a writer. That you do have this instinct when you're writing plays that you are sort of controlling people in a weird way. So that's a bit of personal failings on my part on all other playwrights' parts.
It's a bit meta, honestly.
I love myself here because I've just been reading like Stan Lee comic books all of this week, and I get everything he says. I'm like, oh my god, it's just like Stan Lee.
Yes.
that was a very fun hook, and that and of course the thing was I love Stan Lee so much that when it came time to kill him off, I actually gave him a heroic death rather than a rather than just being a big jerk. He actually dies heroically and bravely and sacrifices himself for the others. It's like, well, this is quite different. I guess my love for Stan Lee would not let him just die as a jerk. That was lots of fun. There's tons of the play is full of tons of references to pop culture things, to other styles of comedy and so on. Because which isn't necessarily something I set out to do, but I sort of realized that I was writing a play that was, yes, it was a parody of Hunger Games, but it also was a play about comedy, since that's the sort of the weapon that these characters use, and so like I said, each of the districts has their own style of humor, and so there's moments in the play where there's a moment where it sort of turns into like a Warner Brothers cartoon, or there's, as I said, the Popeye stuff, the Marx Brothers make an appearance, and there's comic limericks and knock jokes and so on, all in there, and it's great fun for me as a lover of comedy to get to sort of have the play be sort of like a tour guide, or a guided tour through, styles of humor and little glimpses of lots of different stuff. And I think that it'll be fun for performers to do. But like I said, that also means that there's tons of little tiny references in there. My mother is a history teacher, and she read this and said, I need to write like a concordance for this to explain all the references in there. And but you don't need to understand them. I think they're sort of Easter eggs. They're stuff that the students acting in it will figure out along the way, and some audience members will get it, and some won't, and that's fine, because I like to think that there's enough jokes that everybody will get, that even if you're not getting every single reference or moment, you'll still have a good time.
Yeah, I mean that's the same thing.
They might learn something new.
That's the same thing with kids movies, right? They put in a lot of adult jokes that the kids don't necessarily get, but have to be funny for the parents to get the parents in the seats, right? So.
Yeah.
It's and boy, now that I have kids, when you encounter something that doesn't do that, like I love to watch Sesame Street with my kids because they're so good at that. And by the way, I imagine you've all seen the Sesame Street Hunger Games parody.
Oh yeah,
hell yeah,
which is fantastic.
The highlight of 2013 for me.
Cookie Monster was always my favorite. He has been elevated to another level.
Yeah, so I love that, but they also like this show called Super Y, which is it's a cute show, and I think it actually is definitely helping them with letters and early reading skills and so on. But it's unwatchable for adults because it's really just for kids. And I come from children's theater. I come from adaptations of fairy tales and children's books and stuff, and I always tried to make sure there was stuff for adults watching the show to do, and also for the actors to have fun with, because when you're just being a bouncy happy bear, the kids might love it, but it's really boring as a performer and boring as a parent if there's nothing there for you. So I really like to work on multiple levels.
Yeah, that's why I could never stand it when my kids wanted to watch Barney. I was just like, no, not that.
Yes, I've managed to avoid Barney so far, though. One time I turned on the TV and Barney happened to be on, and suddenly who's that purple dinosaur? Like, you do not want to know who that purple dinosaur is.
Yeah, no. And the other one to avoid is Booba. It's this really, really weird show where it's these 4 aliens. They're just like these plushy looking doll-sized people, and they just bounce around for like an hour and say Booba. It's really
like
weird.
the new version of the Kelly.
It's scary.
Yeah, the Teletubbies is exactly what I thought of.
Yeah.
God save us all.
Yeah.
It's stuff of nightmares.
Yep.
But it's good though, because I've heard. Obviously I don't have kids, but I've heard of people who have they've had to take their kids to watch Frozen 17 times
Oh
or
my
stuff
God.
like that. So it's good that there's something in there for the parents too, because if you're going to have to go to the theater 17 times, then yeah.
That's a lot of money.
I know, but come on, it was a long winter, so I guess there was nothing better for them to do.
Oh my God. If I lived in a snowy area, I don't know if I would be able to go to a movie about snow.
Honestly, I think that's why it made so much money.
This is us.
Maybe that's why Australia didn't do so well here.
Okay, well, do you have anything else you want to mention to us before we say goodbye to you?
Oh, sure. Well, like I said, so the play is available from Playscripts Inc. And I think it's great for, like I said, high schools or middle schools, but I think it's certainly, community theaters could do it, summer camps, anything like that. And one thing that I really try to do is that it's a very flexible cast size. There are a few characters who are optional that you don't have to use. There's lots of chances for double casting, but there's also chances to have a very big cast. So if you have 50, 60 kids show up to audition, you can get them all in there and get almost everybody a speaking part. But I also worked out you could do it with a cast of maybe 19, I think. To double up like that. I drove myself crazy putting together a spreadsheet of how to of which characters could double with which other characters. But that's all there on the Playscripts website. Yeah,
So, do you have a website for where anybody can go to look at all of your work, or?
Oh, let's see. I really should, and I don't. Other than if you go to Playscripts Inc., they publish all of my parody plays, but playscripts.com. So if you find go there, you can search for me, for Dino Carroll, search for the humor games, and you can also link the link to my my other plays that they publish, which was the 2 Harry Potter parodies, the Twilight parody, and which is called New Kids at Vampire High, and a short parody to Glee that I wrote. Which I thought would never get produced again after Corey Monteith's untimely passing, because the play takes a few gentle jabs at his singing and dancing abilities, which was fine when he was alive and well. It was just a gentle ribbing. Now it seems like I'm mocking a tragic death that I promised. No, I wrote this before he died. But no, that still gets done once in a while. I think Glee's star is generally sort of waning. I think it's not as like my Twilight parody is not gotten produced in quite a while. I guess that might be off the pop culture radar now.
People realized it was crap.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny.
Not the play, the original.
I love Harry Potter, and so when I wrote my Harry Potter parodies, those were very, very loving, and I love Hunger Games, so I wrote that with a lot of love. When I did my Twilight parody, I did not read the books, I did not see the movies. It's a parody based largely on sort of my general understanding of it and what I read on Wikipedia, and my children are telling me that it's time for me to go.
Okay.
So for my Twilight parody, I came from a very different angle on it, but.
Well, just one last thing to say is I'm glad to see that you took a fully humor approach to it, because I've seen a lot of parodies where they actually just make fun of hungry people, and that really just kind of ticked me off instead of making it funny for me. So I'm glad you switched your whole games around so that it's all based on comedy. All right, so I know you gotta get going. So thanks for coming on and talking with us, and hopefully we'll get to read the entire thing, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Dean.
All right, so we were just talking with Dean O'Carroll, the writer for the Humor Games. Like I was saying before we got cut off, I mean, I've been sent parodies before, and they just piss me off, you know. I mean, they just make fun of starving people, and it's just, that's not funny, you know.
No.
So
I always think, like, Harry Potter lends itself to parody very well, whereas The Hunger Games is a very serious message.
Yeah.
So, you know.
There are real people starving. Why do you have to go and make fun of, like...
You wouldn't do a parody of Schindler's List or something.
Hey, folks, I'm back. I'm sorry. I lost you there.
Oh, okay. Well, we're just talking about how we like that your play focuses more on humor, that you turned it purely into humor rather than making fun of hungry people, which is basically what a lot of other parodies do, which kind of upsets us.
I know. There've been two movies parodied. Right? There's one that was like a mashup of Hunger Games and the Hangover movies, right?
Oh, and, I see the trailer for that.
And then someone, and at least one of them, which is a weird idea. But I think it was very much in that sort of scary movie, epic movie type thing. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously those have their fans, and that's okay. All right. My kids are telling me I gotta go. So,
it's fine.
Thank you again.
So, thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. And so just listeners, please visit place.
I will finish for him. Playscripts.com. Alrighty, well, let's get into the next part of our podcast, which is basically we're gonna rant.
It's a rant.
We're gonna let it all out.
We've been looking forward to it.
Should I start off before the rant? That I actually don't mind that there's not that much going on.
Ciara!
Because it happened to be in the one period where I couldn't be online. I'm like, I came back. It's like, nothing's happened. This is easy.
Let's turn this into a roast Ciara podcast.
Said, let's wait for Ciara to get back online. Oh,
that's
gone dark. It's all your fault.
I suppose it's like I think they just don't need to market it right now.
Well,
like they needed to keep the momentum up after the Hunger Games to make sure, but I mean, Catching Fire just blew it out of the water box office wise, so I think they're in a very good place.
Well, I think for me it's just that there's not even any stills. That's just what's bugging me right now, and it's caused like the paranoia to start ramping up. I mean, I know like there was PETA paranoia for a while, but this is like all around general paranoia for me. Like,
you're going through X-Men paranoia.
Yeah, totally. I mean, okay, so just to like fill people in on what we're what like I've been thinking is that it started with the MTV Movie Awards when there was nothing coming out, because a lot of people were like, "Oh, they're going to show the teaser trailer at the MTV Movie Awards," and I was like, "No, they're not. They would have been teasing us endlessly with these stupid. Here's a 1-second thing of the teaser. You know, like MTV just does that, and it's not like Lionsgate would just ask them, oh, yeah, let's not do that, and then they would say, yeah, sure. You know, I just feel like MTV was just like, this is what we do. This is what we're going to do if they had something. So, which is why I didn't even watch the awards, because I just figured there's not going to be anything.
And there was a mistake.
And like there was like some post on some Brazilian Hunger Games site or something on Facebook saying that the reason that there was nothing at the MTV Movie Awards for Mockingjay was because of X-Men. And so that got me to ask my cousin who works in like the Hollywood industry, oh, so what does she think about that? And she said, that could make sense because if X-Men, because I mean, X-Men Days of Future Past is coming out next month, or this month, right?
This month.
Yeah, it's May already.
23rd.
Oh my god, it's May. Oh, okay.
23rd.
Anyway, so X-Men comes out this month, and I mean, the movie is kind of based around Mystique, right?
Yeah.
It's not really. I think her role has been
I'm not
beefed up.
entirely sure, actually. It's a bit confusing because in the comics it was Mystique, because they went back in time to stop her from killing someone and destroying the future.
Yeah.
But I'm not entirely sure how they're going to do it in this one, because I saw a trailer somewhere and it seems like they're trying to recruit her, so I'm not sure. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah,
I believe in the movie she does have an assassination attempt on somebody.
Yeah.
But like basically she has a huge like role in the film, right? And I mean, if you look at the marketing, she's front and center. There's posters of her. Yeah. There's like the EW cover has her front and center. And I mean, at first I thought, well, they're just kind of riding on the Jennifer Lawrence train for the movie.
Yes.
But
no, they are.
But I mean,
they definitely are.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, with the plot, like synopsis and stuff, it just sounds like she has a very important role. I mean, obviously she's a main character, but it just seems like the whole story is based around like stopping her from doing something. So she's pivotal to their marketing. So, and then I started thinking, well, maybe it just goes past the MTV Movie Awards. Oh, actually, I never even really talked about it. But basically, the idea was that Lionsgate wasn't allowed to do any kind of promotion of Jennifer Lawrence at the MTV Movie Awards because she's starring in X-Men, and X-Men was a sponsor of the MTV Movie Awards.
I would definitely say it wouldn't be that they weren't allowed to, but there might be an agreement there.
Like, you don't think that could be in her contract, though, that she can only promote X-Men at this thing?
Yeah, but she doesn't need to promote Hunger Games. They just have to release a still of her, so there's the difference. She doesn't have to do an interview or anything.
Yeah, exactly. She's not actively promoting Mockingjay yet.
But
a while.
There is a point there, though. I think, there could be an agreement, possibly.
I think so.
Waiting till X-Men's out of the way.
I mean, it could even be, because, I mean, Lionsgate, I mean, there's the whole big studio versus small studio, and Lionsgate, while it's getting into the whole big studio thing, it's still struggling to become one of the big boys, right? So I just kind of like felt like maybe like Fox was just like, ha ha ha, we're gonna make sure that they can't promote their Mockingjay baby,
No, I don't.
No,
I think it was.
Like that,
I think this has been on paper for a long time, because if you remember when X-Men was filming, and I think what was it, Catching Fire was still promoting something. I'm not even sure how it went, but we had a period where they kept pushing the filming of X-Men around.
Catching Fire had to end filming by December because X-Men wanted to start in January. But then they pushed it back, and they were able to do Catching Fire reshoots. Thank God.
Yeah, exactly. And like I think because we heard a lot back then about the studios negotiating, and I think they just negotiated the whole thing. Like the whole package was.
Yeah, I think so.
Done and I mean. Again, I don't think it's the fact that they can't just use Jennifer for anything, like her image. I think she can't promote Mockingjay right now. But I think they're still free to like release stills. I mean, maybe not at the MTV Movie Awards. Okay, I give you that. They don't want to have.
I mean, for that one, I think like if they're a sponsor, maybe they told MTV, if you guys are going to do this, we're not going to. Do all this stuff for X-Men. So.
But outside the awards, I mean, Ciara has a point. Right now, they don't really need all that promotion. They don't really need MTV at this point. They can just release anything and people will go crazy.
But keep in mind, Jennifer doing stuff for X-Men is not going to hurt Lionsgate and Mockingjay if anyone's going to help.
Yeah, it's not, but I feel like
it's
maybe...
definitely not a bad thing for them. It's a very good thing.
I feel like maybe Fox thinks it's the other way around, though. Like, if there's Jennifer Lawrence on a Mockingjay poster, they're going to think that it's going to take attention away from X-Men or something.
Oh, that's a very good point, because when she's doing promotion for X-Men, might bring up, so we saw the Mockingjay trailer and...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe they want to avoid any kind of cross-promotion, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, but I think they may have agreed something about the awards, but I don't think Fox can legally stop them from promoting on
I'm
their
sure
own.
there's an agreement between both of them.
Yeah, exactly. They've agreed. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of money exchanged for this, but they agreed. So, meanwhile, we're going crazy.
Exactly.
I just realized that we forgot to go over our list of replacement swear words. we were gonna pitch this as this R-rated podcast where we swear a lot, only with our fun Hunger Games swear words.
Yep.
I'm so peated off. But yeah,
Lionsgate just being Hamishes.
I thought of one that might be a bit too dirty. It just popped in my head there.
Uh-oh. What is it? What is it?
Snow job.
What?
Snow job.
Oh my god.
Oh, sorry. Can't use that one.
No.
I went too far.
Oh my
Holy
god.
snow, Ciara, that was terrible.
Oh my god.
That was pretty good.
That's
That was pretty good.
Good job.
The other random thing in all of this, I guess, is I can't remember her name, but it didn't a part of Lionsgate's major. I mean, I know Tim Palin's still there, but there was a major part of their marketing team has also left.
Nancy Kirkpatrick. Ugh.
That's the one, but I think she had more to do with Summit. But so maybe, maybe there's some more restructuring behind the scenes as well that they're not really quite.
Well, I mean, wasn't Tim Palin in charge of Catching Fire and Hunger Games already, though?
He was. He's been in charge from the beginning, but maybe in the team itself, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I still don't really understand the whole blurring of Summit and Lionsgate, honestly.
Yeah, I don't really know how it works.
Merged.
I've been wondering about their marketing campaign and stuff too, because that article they released, I don't know, was it December or January or something, and Tim Palin was talking about, that they need to do more internationally, and I was like, Finnick, yeah. And,
that was a good one.
I found Catching Fire worse marketed here than the Hunger Games.
Really?
So
wow.
Maybe they're moving east across the world, because
Southern
the Hunger
Hemisphere
Games
just
was
doesn't
very
exist.
bad in the UK, and then Catching Fire was amazing in all of Europe. It was everywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
It did phenomenally well here too, but I saw the ad twice.
It didn't do great in Japan, for example. It actually did pretty bad in
that's
Japan.
what I'm saying. Maybe now they're just moving over to Asia and Australasia and Oceania. For
which would be nice, because they could do so much better. I think I saw the ad was on telly twice. I think I saw one movie poster for it somewhere.
Wow.
That's
there is no merchandise other than the book tie-in. At least with Hunger Games, I think we wound up with the pens and the magnets. That's it.
That's so
I've
weird.
seen
because,
Divergent more times than I can count.
I mean, obviously, I live in the US, so there's a huge marketing
Dolly
campaign.
covers. We've got everything. So Divergent, you can see here. Catching Fire was just hopeless. So then I'm thinking Southern Hemisphere fans probably feel even worse, and we're probably contributing more to the paranoia, because we totally got pretty Finnick deal for Catching Fire, and now it's does Mockingjay even exist? Does Lionsgate even know that we're here?
From the other end of the spectrum, there can be a little too much sometimes, because I remember in November I just felt like I was drowning in Hunger Games. There was a TV spot every commercial break on everything I watched, and everywhere I went on the internet, because of my cookies, I guess, I was getting Hunger Games ads everywhere. And it was just getting a little bit too much for me. I was just okay, I'm going to see the movie. Can you stop showing me these ads?
I remember just turning on my laptop and being okay, 20 million things today.
I know. and then there was the Subway commercials, which just in general just bothered me, and they were playing all the time.
We didn't have it on Subway here. I wanted to go and get the cups, but I couldn't.
Yep, no Subway. We
But
have Subway too.
Yeah, in here though, like the funniest thing was that they had the posters in all the train stations. So I remember the first time I saw them, because all my friends know that I'm like obsessed with the Hunger Games, right? So the first time we were going to class and there was a poster at the train station, I'm like, oh my god, look at this! I was so excited, and then like, I don't know, 3-4 days later, after seeing it everywhere, like my friends would just turn to look at me like, don't say a word. I'm like, okay.
I think you'd be thankful that you didn't have the Subway thing, because every time I went into Subway, I just felt guilty. Because you'd have this very stern-looking Katniss staring at you going,
it was huge.
Starving. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
I wanted to take a picture with the pizza stand in, though.
Yeah, there was that huge stand. They had, at the Subway I went to, they had it right by the drink thing, and she's just kind of like glaring at you.
Don't get a refill. How dare you get a refill?
Oh, you get a refill.
My water bottle came with nothing.
You don't want those chips.
Would kill for some Fanta.
Look at it on the bright side, though. At least for Catching Fire, they were like wearing, their arena uniforms. For Mockingjay, they're gonna have guns, and then you're gonna feel really threatened.
You will buy 6-inch subs for everyone in my district, or else. I don't know. The whole Subway thing just bugged me. Like, Hunger Games.
I think it was ill-guided.
Yeah,
not that wrong.
I mean, didn't they pull the ad from YouTube or something? Subway?
I think there was one ad that was weird.
It was the sriracha one or something, right?
Oh. Yeah, but I mean, not the general one. I don't remember what it was. But yeah, it wasn't the best idea ever.
Yeah, I remember my first reaction to hearing the news was that Subway was going to be canceled. I was just like, is this a joke? Like, what the Finnick? Are you seriously?
Bad idea.
And then you go to Subway and you're like, holy snow, it's real.
But the funny thing is that it works. I mean, people actually go there. It's like with our April Fool's prank. Like, we all thought people were going to be like outraged. Like, everybody wanted a theme park. It's kind of...
Yeah, that was
still funny.
That was the scariest moment of that, when I was reading like comments. People were like, "Yeah, I can't wait." And you're like, "What?"
I know, there were so many comments on like Instagram. They're like, "We're going. We're so going." I was just like, "Oh my god!"
I felt the worst for that girl who was from like Africa or something, and she's like, "Oh my god, we're coming all the way from Africa to go there," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Yeah, there was for us. There was definitely a phase where we're just like, "What have we done?"
I'm feeding the monster.
See what you make us do to people.
I mean, at this point, I'm just kind of like really excited / scared to see what they come up with for these two movies. Because it's like, okay, and the first one, it was like, okay, it could have been worse. They didn't make it too commercial, and then the Subway thing happened, and I'm like, no. So I don't even want to think about what they're gonna come up with for the third.
They're gonna have a tie-in with Expendables.
Don't. That movie is the bane of my existence. Don't.
I'm just kind of wondering now too, because it's been like so long between anything, right? So we've had the movie, we've had the DVD, we've had nothing. They're going to come out with some huge announcement or some stills or something, and we're all just going to be like, this isn't real.
Yeah.
this is just
not
total
real.
point Lionsgate. Like, I'm just wondering, is it going to go over like a total lead balloon and everyone be like,
where was this 4 months ago?
Yeah, exactly. We should do that. We should lead a protest. Don't like these new stills.
Oh, God. No, I mean, come on. We're all going to be like that until the first still of, like, Gwendolyn Grace comes out. And then
it'll be like the Sam as Finnick situation. Oh, we don't like Sam. Fake tan. We love
Sam! Yes. Exactly.
I always love Sam.
Me too. I want that I want that in the record that I
so-
always
Yeah.
Since
I
we're
was
talking
the-
about
But that will happen again.
since we're talking about
Right now.
Sam, did any of you go to see Quiet Ones? Because I was too chicken to go.
No,
too
I'm
chicken
not.
to-
I'm
It's
not even.
that scary.
No.
So.
I mean, I love you, Sam, but no.
I saw the previews and I was like, oh my god, this looks like not my kind of movie.
Yeah.
I don't like the really scary movies. That's why. So.
I mean, I saw the trailer and I didn't think it was that scary, but honestly, I think it just, there are some actors that just freak me out no matter what they do, and Jared Harris is one of those actors.
Yeah, he's totally
anything
creepy.
he's in, he just creeps me out. I mean,
Even, like,
it's
Batman?
good because, yeah, everything, honestly. Like, I think he was in, like, the second Sherlock Holmes movie or whatever, and he's not supposed to be scary. I mean, he was Moriarty, right? So he was the bad guy, but he's not supposed to be scary. He's really supposed to just be like, this evil genius, but not scary. And I just sat there and it freaked me out.
See, for me,
He was a villain in Fringe too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For me, he just looks like his dad, so I just think stick a beard on him. It's Dumbledore, so I'm like, hey, it's Dumbledore. So it doesn't bother me.
Wait, what? Who is his dad?
Richard Harris.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
He looks exactly like him.
Oh my god, that's so weird. I didn't know that.
Google image him now and Google his dad, and you're
That's
like,
so funny.
yeah, they look identical.
Oh god, now I'm going to picture Jared Harris with a Dumbledore hat every time I see him.
Yeah, and
Thanks.
I go,
Oh
no,
my
That might help
god,
your
that's
fear.
so weird. I had no idea.
Fear, what do they call it? Fear, therapy? Like, you do something else, you think of something else, so you might not have your fear of him anymore.
Dumbledore therapy.
Yeah, Dumbledore therapy.
No, but seriously, they have to give us something soon. Otherwise, we're just going
Yeah.
to like wither away.
They've let the fire die.
The spark has gone
The
out.
spark, it's dead.
Rebellion
We need-
is over.
We'd need to stick about 50 Jeffies in there, Jiffies and firelighters in there just to get it to start a flame again.
On the other hand, if they give us a trailer, say after X-Men, so June or something, this would be the teaser trailer, right? That's usually
Correct.
the first thing to go.
Yeah.
And then Comic-Con is in July, so it wouldn't be that long a wait.
Yeah.
This
Yes,
is true.
and maybe that's what they're thinking.
Yeah, maybe they
If
should
Lionsgate
just
Finnick up again and put that trailer online before it airs at Comic-Con,
even get
we
me
will be
started.
even more petered off than last year. Heed my warning, Lionsgate.
I can't... See, my paranoid brain is just imagining all of Lionsgate getting ready, all their Mockingjay stuff ready to go on May 24th. X-Men's out. Let's go.
Go.
Yeah.
What do you mean by paranoid, though? Do you think they're doing this just to piss you off, Crystal?
Yes.
No.
Just you, specifically. They keep
Yeah,
looking
they
up
hate
online.
me, I
How's
know.
Crystal handling this?
Yeah.
Let's wait a few more weeks.
No, but really, it's so weird to me because okay, I can see them waiting for a trailer, but they could give us some stills. That doesn't even take any effort.
Yeah, see, the still thing I think is once again like they don't want any crossing with Jennifer Lawrence because if you look at magazines now, a lot of magazine covers are all X-Men focused with Jennifer Lawrence. So I don't know. I mean,
Promote
Yeah, well,
the boys.
you'd be sure that Fox wants them to talk about X-Men.
yeah. So I think they might just be like putting their foot down and being like this is X-Men's time. You cannot like get in the way of
Again.
us right now. So
Not foot
Like
down.
they don't really have an
agreement.
audience, you mean?
no,
Like-
I just feel like it's like a Hollywood political thing where they just
I say an amiable agreement.
Yeah.
They can't really put their foot down. Lionsgate just goes, no. So there must be an amiable agreement.
Like the naughty child. You will not do this. Yes, I will.
Speaking of magazines, though, who do you think is going to be in the cover? Like the first cover we get. Like, remember last year with Finnick and that horrible,
with his bed hair.
Yeah,
I just got up in the arena.
What do you think? I mean, I'm guessing Julianne Moore, but she's not around anymore, is she? Like on set, she's filming another movie.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like Liam Hemsworth has really good agents, so I feel like it's going to be Katniss and Gale.
Katniss and Gale.
Yeah. Because, I mean, this is finally the movie where he has a decent screen time, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, every other movie he's been in the movie, like, what, 2-3 minutes at the most?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this
he's
is
been
his
buying
time.
his time.
Yeah. So, I feel like they're going to finally pop out Gale. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's not
I will be happy.
It's not like they've been ignoring him, but I just feel like it's time. It's Gale time, right?
It's Gale time.
It's
like tag Gale, you're
Gale in uniform on a magazine cover. Yes, I like that.
all scuffed up with like a few cuts, mud on his face.
That's how Lionsgate wins all our forgiveness.
Yeah.
Well,
although not all our forgiveness, just our forgiveness, but like Peter fans will just go, "What?
Yes, of course.
What is Gale doing in this story? Cut out."
I'm willing to put Peter aside just for a small time. Just
for part one.
Yeah, just part one.
Part one.
I mean, Peter does like a oh my god, I can't even remember his name. Edward in New Moon. You know when he disappears in New Moon?
Yeah, he does.
So it's kind of like what Peter does, right?
Oh, we talking about Twilight? I'm like, I don't get this reference. Who the hell's
Yeah, I'm talking about Twilight.
I was actually trying to think of which cast member was called Edward. I was like,
wait, what?
You're thinking like, wait, I don't know that one. What?
Yeah.
There are no vampires in Hunger Games.
Because this is our R-rated episode, and Ciara already got a little bit rude. I'm going to go pervy. Do you think we are going to get Peter shirtless planting rose bushes?
Was he shirtless in the book?
In part 2? I don't think.
Did I miss that part?
I think he was shirtless in the book, wasn't he?
Is this a euphemism?
It is in the book. It's the first time she sees him in District 12 when they get back after everything.
Or he has like a singlet on, or he's like shirtless or something, and she says he's shirtless, like in the garden, planting the primroses.
No,
I don't remember if he says he's shirtless or not, though.
I don't have the book handy.
Yeah, but you would just see everyone roll their eyes if at the very end.
You would.
The very moment he's
Or
shirtless.
am I getting confused? Am I getting confused with the Catching Fire arena?
I don't think he was shirtless, Tash, because remember this is after everything, and they're supposed to be like really burned.
Oh, they're all damaged. I think I'm getting confused between books.
Yeah, like Tash, like I know, like you like.
It is early.
Maybe your fan fiction had him shirtless, but.
You're confusing this with the dream you had.
Quite possible. See, this is why we can't have such a long break between things.
We start confusing fan fiction with reality. Great.
I have a problem.
Actually, it's funny because you're starved for any kind of Hunger Games thing. When I was just reading the play, the parody, I like in the sample they show you like the whole first act, so it's like the first book or so, and at the end they have that scene where Peter and Katniss supposedly kill each other, but in here they have pies and crap, and I just read through it, and I mean, come on, there's a point where Peter's like, okay, pie me. And then Katniss is like, no, I'm sorry, that would not be funny. And then she starts speaking in hashtags. And I just, I had that moment where I went, oh, that is so sweet. And then I thought to myself, really? Like, am I that starved for actual Katniss and Peter?
Carla is going to have shirtless Gale hashtag dreams tonight.
Yes.
Oh, God. Yes. Please.
That'll tide you over until it comes
No, but seriously, you do not know how eager I am to have pictures of Gale in uniform, so please, Lionsgate. Please.
Help us!
Dying.
Do you think it's going to be uniform, or is it going to be his District 13, like, frumpy-looking work outfit, though? Because, I mean...
Well, we know they wore uniforms, at least.
No, they need uniform.
Yeah,
He was in a uniform on set, wasn't he?
Yeah, I presume the rescue mission will be in...
Actually, yeah, now that we talk about that, we should say that, like, the first magazine cover will probably show Soldier Everdeen and Soldier Hawthorne.
Yeah.
Not Gale and Katniss, since they're called soldiers, right?
That would be amazing.
I like that part of it, because we've been doing Through the Pages, right? I like that they that Katniss and Gale jokingly call each other and tease themselves by calling him Soldier Everdeen.
Yes.
Seriously, it should be in uniform, though. I mean, come on, that's the only reason why. Since we mentioned the Expendables, that was the only reason why I went to see Expendables 2, was to see Liam Hemsworth in a uniform.
I only watched that movie like 3 weeks ago.
I mean, come on. I need that. I need it. Just give it to me.
That totally, because Harrison Ford is in Expendables 3, and it totally reminds me of that time where I think he was on Jimmy Kimmel or something, and he asked him, well, have you seen the other Expendables? He's like, no. Like, are you crazy?
I haven't seen Expendables, but I watched Expendables 2 for the exact same things that Carla was watching it for. But it was just, I couldn't stop laughing because every time he spoke, it was so obvious, like, right, he's going to die soon. Because
he died right away, right?
I've got this girl back home and I just want to get out of the game. You're like, yeah, you're going to die.
Yeah. They should have just put him in a red shirt.
Yeah.
No.
He just kept, like, knocking them off, like, with like 5 or 6 cliches of, yeah, he's gonna die soon.
You know.
I mean, you could see it coming, but I was still hoping. God, but no.
Yeah, he'll get through this. He was actually quite good at it, which I was surprised by. I quite like Liam Hemsworth as an actor. I actually think he's not that bad.
Oh,
it's pretty good.
I don't know what movie I've seen him in besides Hunger
What about
Games.
2 Hemsworth brothers in the same film?
Oh God!
Too much awesomeness, the world would explode.
3.
Did you guys watch them in that Jimmy Kimmel skit, the Charlie one?
Yeah.
No.
Charlie bit my...
I didn't get it. I didn't get it.
I
the Charlie bit my finger thing. I didn't get it because I hadn't seen that video, so I went to go look it up, and it was funnier after I saw that.
Yeah.
That's been on the internet for years.
Yeah. See. I'm always like missing things like that.
There is such a thing called YouTube. You can go on it and watch videos. No, but I like him. I mean, I think, I mean, after the Hunger Games, maybe the first thing I saw Liam in was, what was the name of the movie? Love and Honor? Something like that. He also played a soldier, by the way. I may have some kind of...
You've got it right. Something. It was a crap film, but he was good in it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was really good. Yeah. And from that day on, I just love him.
He was also in Paranoia, but I didn't watch that.
Me neither.
I only read the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, just for like a Schadenfreude kind of. This is hilarious.
I remember it had like 11% or something, didn't it?
Oof, it's nasty.
Yeah, it didn't do so good.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, some movies I agree with, some I don't. And I liked Love and Honor for the most part, but I liked him more than anything in it.
What about that one with Miley Cyrus in it?
I haven't seen that one because it has Miley Cyrus in it. So.
Is that last song? Is that what it's called?
Oh yeah.
Miley Cyrus.
I don't want to watch that.
Why would I watch that movie?
Did you guys read those rumor stories about like Jennifer puking and Miley telling her to get it together?
I don't believe a word of that.
Really?
I've never heard of it.
Yeah. Well, I thought you hadn't heard. But yeah, I read that and I was like, what? What?
All our tabloid magazines at the moment, if you go to the supermarket, have all got Miley on the cover, and it's like possibly pregnant and scared.
Oh my goodness!
And you're just like, oh my god, what? Like, What else has
Like,
come
some
up?
of the things that we see in Google Alerts with these people are just ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
A few weeks ago,
I'm glad I never had a Liam alert.
See, I think that's another reason why, like, people are so, like, in a foul mood over the lack of news, is because when there's no news, you get stuff like this tabloid crap. And that's, like, basically all you get. And it's just, ugh.
Yeah, my Liam alerts had been pretty decent for the past few weeks, and then Miley got sick, and now every single one of them is like, Liam wants to
Miley
connect
got
with-
Yeah, it's like they broke up.
So
Like,
sorry I
why
missed that.
is she still part of this Liam Hemsworth thing?
Yeah, I don't even get it, but yeah, that's what happens when you have no news.
Yeah, no news is not always good news.
No.
And always, like, useless things like Harry Styles wants to go out with Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah, you and everyone else. News.
Entire world.
Jennifer Lawrence is wearing a ring. She's engaged. Oh my god, people wear rings when they're not engaged? No.
They just want to wear rings. Yeah.
The funny thing though is that I keep finding out about movies that I didn't know the actors were doing, but like really crappy movies that I'm never going to see, and then all of a sudden, like, I don't know, I keep getting like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles alerts for like, who is it?
Alan Rich.
Oh, Alan Richardson.
No, him I knew, but there's someone else, and I keep getting that, and I'm like,
Really?
I just look at them, and I'm like, is he in that movie? And then, oh no, Stanley Tucci was in Transformers.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, okay, he's in Transformers. That's interesting. But yeah, it's nothing important. So, oh god, we need something. They need to give us something too soon.
Yep.
I'm starving.
Yes, we're starving for news.
We are literally dying.
I mean, the only real like thing that was exciting
hallucinating.
lately was that Elizabeth Banks rapped Effie, which is kind of sad.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
very sad.
I want to know what Effie's part in this is.
Yeah, I do too, and I want to know like if they like gave her better closure, because I thought Suzanne Collins gave her no closure.
Yeah.
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 But
If
part
you
of me
rocked up,
thinks
she's all okay. She's a little bit traumatized. The end.
I think she's a little bit more beefed up in the movies, though.
Yeah.
But specifically in Catching
I hope
Fire,
so.
I think that was Elizabeth Banks' performance. She made me tear up so many times. And I'm like, oh,
I know.
I never got that reading, Effie. So.
Absolute
We're
best.
a team.
Yeah.
But you know
Deserve
what?
it.
So much
You
better.
deserve so much better. I was like,
Oh god. But you know what I'm really looking forward to when it comes to Effie, though, is maybe whether or not we get to see her not
Not made up.
made up. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I think that would be great.
That would be really
really
awesome.
Yeah, I'm really
Not-
curious to see how they'll do that, because I mean, I obviously she wears wigs, so I wonder if they're
Yes.
gonna like go for something where she's like she has almost no hair kind of thing to make it like a drastic change or something. You know, I'm wondering how they're gonna do that, because I feel like the scene with Octavia in the cafeteria with Gail's sister, I feel like they'll change that to Effie.
Yeah, I was wondering if the whole torture scene with the stylist would be changed for Effie, because it would definitely
Yeah, I
be
think
more of
so.
an impact.
Yeah.
Me too. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I don't know if they
think
maybe
so.
have her hairless, or maybe just have her wig like really flattened and like she's sort of hanging on to her wig. But
Yeah, like I would like it
the
where
wig
it's like
itself.
almost where Katniss doesn't recognize her at first, kind of thing.
yeah.
I was thinking more just her real hair, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, but what that's
Whatever
what I'm
that
saying though.
may be.
What does her real hair look like is what I was wondering. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, I really hope we see her stripped back.
Yeah.
Not that
But I
we
think-
want to see Effie tortured. We just like to see the whole character
No.
interaction.
Do you think we're gonna get the torture scenes? Do you think so? Like, just
think we'll get it
to make
implied.
sure that-
Of what? Of Peeta and Joanna? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I mean, because if
Oh.
we don't get anything from them, then we just won't see like almost any of them in the first movie.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking they have to give us something, and what else can they give us? Just torture.
It's tough to say, because I mean, like they like to stay in Katniss' point of view, but at some
Yeah.
point, like I don't know. You do need to. I mean, they did show other scenes without her, right? Like Snow and Plutarch and stuff like that. So
I'm thinking they could do something like ushering Peter back to his cell after, going on TV, like all bloodied or whatever, and they could have like a peacekeeper waiting for him or something like that.
Or even taking him from his cell and then putting him on TV, like prepping him. For
TV,
and maybe
you could.
And maybe we could get a glimpse of
Joanna
and Annie there. Maybe we could just see them in passing or something. That would be awesome.
Yeah,
I'd like to see the reference to, because in the book, doesn't Joanna say like they're cell buddies, like next door?
Yeah.
So like it would be nice to have her be like whispering through the walls or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really sad. How are you?
Yeah.
I'm miserable.
They electrocuted me 3 times today. What did they do to you?
I got 4 and 1 waterboard, but good Saturday. How was your Saturday?
Oh my god! It's in moments like this that I just look back on what we just said and think, God, what kind of fandom are we in?
We're joking about hunger's not okay, but joking about torture is.
Waterborne is totally fine. Come on.
What has become of us all?
As Francis said, you can, because it's split in 2, there's a lot more room to go into stories that aren't happening to Katniss. So,
and I hope they do. I mean, they have got 2 movies, and thinking about it, they're both going to be about 2 hours 10 each again, theoretically.
As long as it doesn't feel like The Hobbit, where Gale and her are sitting in the canteen for 20 minutes.
Oh,
exactly.
No. I mean, that's why I think they're gonna go, more often to Peeta and Joanna, because the whole thing with Katniss, honestly, like after a while, seeing her hide in closets and crap, it gets
I feel like you only need to show that once. So
yeah,
me too.
Exactly. So
I'm pretty sure we'll get battle scenes. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
And it needs to be pretty clear when he rocks up, why he's so finnicked up.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise he'll just rock up and strangle her, and all non-book readers will be like, "What? You look normal on TV."
Yeah, exactly.
Like, do you think they'll I know some people think dreams are cheesy, but do you think they'll incorporate, if they want to introduce what's happening to Peeta, do you think, because they have to show that Katniss still cares for Peeta somehow, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you think she'll dream about him and then they'll cut to what's actually happening to him, or I don't know. I mean,
well, she had the pearl.
Yeah.
That's what I usually picture.
I can actually see
I think
that.
there's a lot of visual stimulants you can use there to show that she's thinking of him.
Yeah. Just
exactly.
lying awake in bed looking at it or something.
Yeah, that, or dialogue hooks or things that he said.
And I mean, that's the beauty of having Jennifer Lawrence in the role. She can tell so much by the look on her face, so you don't really need the dialogue.
So, do you think that they're gonna leave? I mean, I don't know, because if they show him being tortured, doesn't that kind of leave some of the surprise out of what he does at the end? Doesn't that ruin it, kind of? You think?
Well, they might not. They might not tell us that
because
I think part of the
I think part of the shock factor of him coming and strangling her was that, you don't really see any of it, right? What's happening to him? You don't know that he's being hijacked. You don't know what's going on with him. You don't see him being tortured or anything.
Well, I don't think they need to show any of that. I think that maybe if they just show him being put back in cell, or you might hear a scream or something like that.
Yeah, I was always
just assume
thinking
that
more of a
physically beaten, not.
I was thinking more of a general torture kind of thing rather than the mental conditioning part. Because I mean, just showing him suffering and maybe him trying to resist it or something, and make us think, he's trying to hold on to his love for Katniss, and then suddenly no,
it's gone.
So.
Or even just a clue as to Snow's plan.
Mm-hmm.
Him describing to one of his minions of what we're going to do to Peeta.
Yeah.
And you just see the loads of people in Jurassic Park just injecting stuff out of Tracker Jaggers, and you're like, oh, what's going on?
I wonder if that's who Antonius could be.
Yeah, I mean, Snow needs someone to talk to about his evil plans.
Somebody to conspire with, and he sure looks evil, so...
no
offense to
him. I mean, he always plays a bad guy.
Yeah, well, you have to, because, in the book, you can just turn the page over and keep reading to find out what's wrong with Peeta. But in the movie, if you don't show anything, then you have to wait an entire year of people going, "What?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if that is where
I
the split
feel like they're not
happens.
going to end on a cliffhanger like Catching Fire, though. Like, I think he'll do it, and then they'll explain what happened, and then she'll leave or something. She'll decide to leave and go to District 2 or whatever. That might be a good stepping off point for the film, with some explanation and some vague what's happening next kind of thing. You know, it's not a good, I think he's going to choke her and then the movie ends, you know. Like, I feel like they can't do it like that.
I don't think it would be that abrupt, but it would definitely be like right after that, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe after she has the discussion with Peeta. When is that? That's before she goes to 2, isn't it?
Does she ever talk to him?
Yeah, that's why she
doesn't Peeta ask for her, and then she goes, and then he's like all horrible and stuff, and then she just runs away.
Oh.
And she
yeah, that's right. They have a conversation, yeah.
Although I think that would be a good opener for a next. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard.
See, I kind of pictured part 2 opening with the nut, and then she gets shot, and you're like, like, you know, what's going to happen for the whole rest of the next movie? So that's what makes me think that, yeah, that part will get like stopped at the choking or somewhere around the choking.
Yeah, I think. I mean, by the way they've talked about it, like Francis Lawrence has talked about, you know, that there's a clear point, like split of point, and it just makes me think choking. I mean, I would hope it would be something different, but it's the most obvious, honestly.
That's when it changes the most for Katniss.
Exactly. And then, you know, movie 2 is really like all out war.
Well, okay, so how about this then? Like, what? Because I don't know if you guys ever like thought this about Mockingjay, but I never really liked the whole "I've decided to be the Mockingjay" thing. It just, I don't know, it didn't sound completely natural for me. Like, just the whole like her hemming and hawing over the decision of being the Mockingjay, it just sounded kind of almost cheesy to me. So I don't know. I feel like a more realistic decision for her would be whether she joins the rebellion, like by going out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe like what he does at the end will finally be what causes her to leave District 13 and go out and fight. You know?
I don't know, because I mean, honestly, the whole Mockingjay thing, the way it was written, maybe it was a bit awkward to me, but I think the decision itself kind of made a lot of sense, because okay, Katniss had decided at that point that or she had decided that she could fight, right? I mean, she's like with the whole Gale thing and in Catching Fire, she did have that desire to fight, to you know, make things better for the district and whatever. So I think she would have fought anyway, but the Mockingjay thing was important because she never wanted to be the center of the rebellion at all.
Yeah.
And you know, it made her feel so guilty because then, you know, she's leading these people and they're all off dying and it's basically all her fault, or so she thinks. So I think the decision to actually be the Mockingjay is important.
Yeah, I actually liked it in the book because I thought it was like she was removing herself from the propaganda thing and she didn't want to be that symbol. Yeah.
Like I like what it means to be the Mockingjay, but I just thought that the way that they talked about it, like will you agree to be the Mockingjay, or you know, just the way that it's phrased is something I've never been a fan of. Like,
no, yeah, I know what you mean.
I get like them wanting her to be a leader and to be the figurehead of the rebellion and stuff like that. That I totally get. That I totally understand. It's just the phrasing of being the Mockingjay kind of thing. I don't know. I just never really been a big fan of that.
Yeah, maybe they'll just talk about her being at the center of propaganda films and things. Yeah, she has to choose whether she wants to do that rather than the "Will you be our Mockingjay?" I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll.
Like, I feel like they could do something where it's like that's like a source of like conflict between her and Coin, where Coin wants her to go out and do something, and she's just like, no, I'm going to just stay here. My family's here. I need to protect my family. You know, something like that. So.
Well, she can't though, because I mean, the whole point for Katniss of becoming the Mockingjay was, you know, the fact that they wouldn't kill PETA.
Yeah.
So I guess that they really can't change that.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, I'm sure she can give Coin a hard time either way. But you know,
I'm so looking forward to Julianne Moore. She's going to be great.
I know.
Big time.
She can play such a... Do we have a B word?
Hey, Mitch.
She can be such a...
Hey, Mitch. Yeah, hey, Mitch.
She can be such a Bonnie. That's the only B word I can think of.
Yeah.
But then that's mean to Bonnie, so... Sorry, Bonnie.
Sorry,
All
Bonnie.
right. I think we're rambling. I think we need to wrap up.
Yeah.
This is turning into a really long podcast.
Ramble?
Sorry, everybody.
That is what happens when you don't give us stuff, Lionsgate.
Yes.
We just talk nonsense.
Yeah, we have been recording for 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Yes.
We hope you enjoyed it.
Sorry,
everybody.
guys. We hope you're still with us.
Yeah.
Probably not, but
they
okay.
understand us. I hope they understand us. So, I mean, come on. The entire fandom is feeling this way, so we don't even know what to speak about anymore.
I know.
Yep.
It's just,
And we hope that we took your mind off it.
like I'll check my email in the morning and be like, oh, maybe there's something today. Nope, there's nothing.
Yeah, I haven't checked my Google alerts in like 3 days precisely because I know there will be nothing.
Miley and Jennifer puking at the Oscars and...
God.
15 ways Jennifer Lawrence is hilarious.
Oh my god, I'm so sick of those.
I remember those.
Jennifer Lawrence is
come on, we all love her. We know why. You don't have to tell us.
Exactly.
You don't need to remind us.
Alright, so let's close out then. Thank you guys for listening to episode 3 of JabberCast. Be sure to visit us at our website, www.Jabberjays.net. You can follow us on Twitter at HGJabberjays.
Don't follow us on Twitter. There's nothing to tweet about.
Don't follow us yet.
Just wait
come on,
and then
Twitter.
we'll
They
tweet
have
like
to
crazy.
follow us. Wait, we just reached 400. Come on, they have to keep following us. So that's it.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Jabberjays.net and on Instagram as at Jabberjays.net. Thank you guys for listening to us ramble.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody. Not you, Lionsgate.
Sorry.
Yeah, what the Finnick. Everybody say what the Finnick.
What the Finnick?
What the heck?